seeking the company of Jesus to hear what he had to say. And the Pharisees and the scribes complained. "This man," they said, "welcomes sinners and eats with them." So he spoke this parable to them. "What man among you with 100 sheep, losing one, will not leave the 99 in the wilderness, and go after the missing one till he found it? And when he found it, would he not joyfully take it on his shoulders, and then, when he got home, call together his friends and neighbors? 'Rejoice with me,' he would say, 'I have found my sheep that was lost.' In the same way, I tell you, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one repentant sinner than over 99 virtuous men who have no need of repentance. Or again, what woman with 10 drachmas would not, if she lost one, light a lamp and sweep out the house and search thoroughly till she found it? And then when she had found it, call together her friends and neighbors. 'Rejoice with me,' she would say, 'I have found the drachma I lost.' In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing among the angels of God over one repentant sinner." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Have you ever lost anything? Have you ever lost your false teeth? That thing or that one that you've lost, when you found it, how did that make you feel? Very good, happy, rejoicing. You realize that your lost teeth was in the mouth, so you have to fix it or When I was a kid, I remember, I grew up in the city, so we have big malls in the city. And every time my mother will go shopping, she will sometimes tag me along. And as a kid, sometimes you will get lost. But sometimes out of my sheer cheekiness, I will get lost. So I will hide under the curtains and those stuff, and I realize my mother will look for me. And I can also see in her face, while hiding, that she was stressed out looking out for me. And then when she finds me, she'll be very happy. But I can also feel her hands on my bum with a certain force on it. When you find the one that you've lost, you will rejoice. Because you've been looking for that lost thing or lost person. And deep within you, you will rejoice because you know that that thing or that person that you have lost is very important for you. So you rejoice. Have you ever been lost? And when you were lost, who found you? You're looking at your children. Yeah, I know the feeling. They say that you can't really understand what it means to forgive if you have not been a parent. Parents know how to forgive. Parents know how to lose someone and then find that someone again. You welcoming him or her back to your fold. We have been lost for quite some time because of our sinfulness or our own limitations. But we realize that there are people in our lives who will always welcome us back because of their love and compassion for us. And we thank God for those people who has shown us love, kindness, and forgiveness. Today, the diocese recognizes the Perpetual Remembrance Day. One of the things that really bothers me is, why are you still in church after all the sexual abuse that happened in this diocese? Why still bring your children to this church after all our still come to church. Because there's only one thing I pray for. I hope and I pray that you're not looking, that what you're looking for in church is Christ Himself. And I hope this Christ that you worship and that you pray to brings meaning and hope in your life. Probably thrown with all the dramas of the sexual abuse, we might have 1,001 reasons not to go back. But I think it is Christ who draws us here. It is Christ who brought us to this church. And I hope we will always look for the Christ, not only in this church, but in our lives as well. Because if we look at our own lives, we also have our own dramas of our sinfulness. But this God, the God that we worship, always welcomes us back. As a priest in this parish, there's only one thing that I can assure you of. We are trying our best to make sure that our child are safe, our children are safe in our Catholic institutions and Catholic communities. We will try our best to learn from our mistakes, and we will make sure that it will never happen again. But there is one thing that I request from you. There is one thing, not request, but demand from you as parishioners of this Catholic Church. Please make sure that your priests are consistent with what they're teaching. Please make sure that as soon as our lives are no longer in sync with the gospel values that we're preaching, please hit us in our bum. Remind us and tell us, because this church is not our responsibility alone. This is our responsibility. We can only show the light if all of us carry in our hands Christ's light. And this is the church that we will want to live, work, and worship in. If this is our church, we will be responsible for it. And we will make sure that those things will never happen again by bringing in our hands the light Christ has shown us.